Hello and welcome to the Prelude to the 1989 Throwbacks. Chevrolet and Ford are bringing their new chassis here to Daytona, so we're going to have a little 20-lap shootout to get things warmed up here for the 1989 season. Ought to be fun, ought to be real good. As you can see, Dale Earnhardt, your champion from last year, is starting on the pole for this race. We'll see if his hot streak will continue. Wallace second. Not bad. And there's the command. Here comes the cars. They're rolling off. And we're going to need to do a retry because the 27 didn't get rolling off. Can't let that happen. Hey, there we go. We're all good. First time on a new mod ought to be really fun. Here you'll see all the cars fly by here. And note, we want to stay on TV too. As we come down, we're going to take the green flag here from Daytona. You're going to see a lot of Daytona coverage over the next few days, as we're going to have the Prelude to the Throwbacks today. Gatorade duels, of course, are going to be tomorrow. And then we're going to get the actual Daytona 500 after that. This is the only race of the year where you actually qualify. And the Twin 125s are those qualifying races. The only thing that's set during qualifying is the front row. So first and second are guaranteed in the 500. And then you have everyone else racing for their qualifying position. Of course, we only had 44 drivers that were eligible for entry into the Throwbacks this season. 2 of them, unfortunately, I was not able to find the car for, so those 2 are obviously not here. And thus we've got a perfect 42 entries for 42 possible entry slots. Here we can see Terry Labonte in the lead. Not very many major changes have been made since last season, at least major changes to the front tier guys. Here you see the 75. That's now driven by Morgan Shepherd, as Neil Bonnet has gone to the 21, and Kyle Petty has moved over to Felix Sabates in the 42 Peak Performance Pontiac. So you got that going for him. Bobby Allison, he ended up retiring after last year. You got a new number on the Stavola Brothers Buick, and it's number 84 for rookie Dick Trickle, one of the oldest rookies ever here in the Cup Series at a ripe old age of 46. Never too old to get started in your Cup career, no doubt about it. Dick Trickle, of course, regarded as a dirt tracking legend. His local tracks and peers said that he's won nearly 800 races on his short tracks, which is, yeah, I would say that's enough to call yourself a short tracking legend. Of course, he entered in a lot of races too. In order to win that many, you have to enter into a lot. And here we can see Dick Trickle. He's getting pushed to the lead getting around Michael Waltrip's Pontiac on the outside. He's getting pushed by Geoff Bodine in the 5 and Sterling Marlin in the 94. Now, Sterling Marlin in the 94, that has the same owner as the 44. So really no team change there. And you've got no other team changes there on the bottom. 15, still Brett Bodine. Ricky Rudd, still the 26. Davey Ellison, still in the 28. Wallace, still in the 27. Schrader, still in the 35. No, pretty bland there. Harry Gant, hoping to have a rebound season here in 1989. Switching from Chevrolet to Oldsmobile, hoping that'll kickstart him a little bit. Meanwhile, Brett Bodine, he's getting a good run here down on the bottom of Geoff Bodine. So we got the two Bodine brothers leading here at Daytona. Don't really see that very often. At least for the brief moment that we were able to enjoy that. The two-time winner of the Prelude to the Throwbacks, Geoff Bodine, has to get at least one lap led in. No? Of course. Now that gives the lead to the number 28 of Davey Allison. The only Allison still in the Cup Series. And meanwhile, the person who finished third in last year's championship with 7 wins, Rusty Wallace, in what has to be considered one of the greatest breakout seasons of all time. We all knew that Rusty Wallace had the potential going into 1987. He had 0 career wins, but 7 runner-up place finishes. He would get his first win at Rockingham and then have 6 more wins throughout the rest of the season, remaining a championship contender really all the way up until Phoenix of that year. The first ever Phoenix race, of course, was won by Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt tied his own and Bill Elliott's record for 8 wins in the Throwbacks. And Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt, both of them, they tied for 20 top 5s in a season, which is just a ridiculous amount. Anyways, Harry Gant, he just led a lap, and now here comes Kyle Petty. He's going to try to take the lead, but he's going to be put into the sucker hole. And someone who, well, I would say is no stranger to success here on the big tracks. He seems to do really well here at Daytona and Talladega, Phil Parsons. Another person who I think had a fantastic season, although his season kind of fell apart in the final few races. He was up in the top 5 in points pretty much all season long last year in what, again, I'll have to call a breakout season. He won his first career race at Riverside the year prior, and then he came back and solidly backed it up. He didn't get a win, but he ended up having 15 top 10s that year. So now here's someone you don't see leading out much, Jimmy Means, and how about Lake Speed right behind him? A couple of owner drivers here. Then you have Larry Pearson in the 4 and DK Ulrich's Pontiac, the number 2 of Ernie Irvan, 30-year driver. Now it looks like Larry Pearson, he's going to get pushed to the lead here by the Hendrick Brigade of Tim Richmond and Darrell Waltrip. 4 slips to the outside. Here comes the 25 down. He's going to have it there. So now Tim Richmond, he's doing quite well. Yep. Darrell Waltrip, he jumps down to the bottom. He's going to end up taking the lead here. You've got the 84 of Dick Trickle there in the second car in the line. And here's somebody that you can definitely report on. Jim Sauter, who ends up going to the number 44 team this season after a, I would say, very successful season in the 89. Very successful rookie season. Finishing second in the Rookie of the Year battle to Larry Pearson. Speaking of rookies, well, Dick Trickle is one of the many, many rookies that we're going to end up having this season. Dale Jarrett, of course, replacing Cale Yarborough in that 29 machine. But let's talk about some rookies here, if I can end up finding their cars. Here's one of them, number 66. That is being piloted by Rick Mast. So that's one rookie. We have here the number 90 car, Dunleavy racing car. That's being driven by Chad Little. Jimmy Spencer, the replacement for Buddy Baker in the 88. That's another rookie. Butch Miller is driving an unsponsored 51 machine. That's another rookie. Let's see here. Let's continue to go back. Yes, the number 57 that Morgan Shepherd actually did quite well in last season. That's now being driven by Hutch Strickland, another rookie. And then we have Mickey Gibbs here in the 48. Ben Hess in the unsponsored number 40, both rookies. And then we have Derek Cope in the 10. Bill Elliott is stuck here in the 9. I'm not sure what happened here. And then we have J.D. McDuffie and Eddie Bierschwell, just a couple drivers that have no equipment. Meanwhile, owner-driver Lake Speed is in the lead. Not anymore. Brett Bodine goes to the lead. And man, I would love to see a resurgence for this Bud Moore crew. Ever since Ricky Rudd had that amazing season back in 1985, it just seems like Bud Moore has really not done that well. You know, Dale Earnhardt drove for Bud Moore one year. You also had Ricky Rudd driving for Bud Moore all those good years. But 86, 87 were not good years for Ricky Rudd, unfortunately. 88, I'd say that Brett Bodine did a pretty good job. First year in huge equipment, his second full-time year in the Cup, he ended up breaking into the top 25 in points. And now his third year here, he's looking to break out. So Chad Little's gone to the lead here, but now here comes the number 71 of Dave Marcus. And boy, what would a super speedway race be without Dave Marcus out in front? Man, that man's just been around forever. Same thing with Richard Petty. Two drivers that have been around just forever. Dave Marcus, Richard Petty. J.D. McDuffie's also been around forever. And there goes Marcus to the outside. Number 6, did he get it? No, Martin did not get that lap led. And now here comes Earnhardt Chevy Lumina. The man in black goes to the lead. Right then and there. Alan Kowicki's going to follow close behind. And man, did Alan Kowicki do amazing last season. He backed up a top 15 points finish in the best way I think you can as an owner driver. He finished 9th in the standings last year, including a win at the Winston 500. Now that means he's actually won 2 out of the 4 Big 4 races in his career. If he can have a win at the Daytona 500 and the Southern 500, he can end up having himself a career Grand Slam. Something that not a lot of drivers can say. So Kowicki, despite only winning 3 races in his career, 2 of them have been absolutely huge wins. Sometimes you just gotta win when the time is right, and man, the time has been right for Kowicki every time, pretty much. Now here we have the 11 of Terry Labonte. He's gonna go to the lead, being pushed by the 28, Davey Allison. See if Allison tries to pull out here. Yep. Can't quite get up to the 11 by the line. It looks like we're going to have a very interesting run to the finish here. 4 laps to go. Davey Allison's got a clear advantage here, but yep, here comes Wallace. He's going to go underneath. He's being pushed by one of those 4 Hendrick Power machines. This time the number 35 of Ken Schrader, someone who really disappeared last season. Someone who we were expecting, Ken Schrader, he's going to come out and he's going to have an amazing season. He didn't. He just didn't. barely finished in the top 20 in points, and I mean barely. So the less that we say about Ken Schrader's 1988 run, the better. 3 laps to go, though. Looks like Ken Schrader, he's going to go to the lead. Now, I think this is worth repeating that the Prelude to the Throwbacks has predicted the Daytona 500 winner every single time it's been run, except for 2 years, and both of those times it's been won by Geoff Bodine. Yup. 1986, Geoff Bodine won the Prelude to the Throwbacks. The 500 winner was his teammate, Tim Richmond. Ironically, that was his first career win. And then you have 1988, where Geoff Bodine once again won the Prelude to the Throwbacks. Looked like he was actually going to win the 500, but Dale Earnhardt made a great move late in the race to actually pull away with the win. Meanwhile, Ken Schrader, it looks like he's having a really good car out there. The number 35 Bolger Chevrolet is doing really well. Jimmy Spencer and Rusty Wallace right now, they can't really do much about it. Oh, Wallace got a great run on that outside lane. Did you see that? Look at this. Oh, they're piling up 3 wide behind them. Here comes Wallace to the bottom as Ken Schrader looks like he got loose there in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Wallace is going to have the momentum coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Anyone have anything for Wallace? And if Wallace wins the 500, that'd be something. Harry Gant, he's already won the Prelude to the Throwbacks once in 1984. He went on to win the Daytona 500 that year. That's big. Michael Waltrip to the bottom. Oh, you got Elliott coming too. Elliott's there. He's actually surprisingly yet to win his 500. Michael Waltrip, he's going to come off of turn 4. I think he's going to be a lucky patron of this race. Oh, he's going to have to beat Elliott to the line. I think he will do so easily side by side, and it's Waltrip by about a half a car length. Michael Waltrip will win the Prelude to the Throwbacks, and all of a sudden all the eyes are on him. Yup. He's the favorite going in to the Daytona 500, no doubt. I mean, I don't know how much I would trust this prediction from the Throwbacks. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. Anything can happen. That's the beauty of these races. So now, while this is going on, let's explain how this race is going to be determined. So, tomorrow we're going to broadcast out the 2 twin 125 races. They'll both be 20 laps long. Everyone that qualified on the inside row will be going first, and everyone that qualified on the outside row will go second. Where you finish determines where you start on your respective rows. The exception to that is if you qualified on the front row, whether if it was first or second, it doesn't matter, you will be guaranteed that spot for the start of the Daytona 500. So pretty much what happens here is if you end up starting 5th in the twin 125s and you're on the inside row, so that means you'll be starting 9th. So, but let's say you end up wrecking during the twin 125s, you got to go to a backup car, which would send you to the back anyways. But then you would have to start from the back because you'll finish like 20th and you'll have to start like 37th or 39th for the Daytona 500, and that's just not fun at all. And then the day after that, we will broadcast the 1989 Daytona 500. Anyways, I hope that sheds a clear light onto what we are doing. We'll see you then. Oh, I don't know if I just stopped